Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with John and Michelle.
Hi everybody, welcome everybody that joins us.
Tonight we're going to have a special focus on the masculine energy.
We are.
Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers there. Yes. Fathers
Special
are sometimes overlooked.
Yeah.
But fathers are important.
Fathers are just as important as anything else.
Without us, there would be none of you.
Well, without anybody, there'd be none of us. But yes. No, masculine energy is just as important as the feminine.
It is. There's a sacred dance between the masculine and the feminine, and that's the human experience, and it's a wonderful dance, and each needs to be honored, fully honored. So we're going to be looking at a bit of fire energy tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
The masculine energy.
Indeed.
Yeah. And we're going to be going through, this is the second in our look at the chakras. So tonight we're going to be looking at the Solar Plexus Chakra and the Heart Chakra. I'm going to be chatting a bit about that, and Michelle's going to share some astrological update with us.
I'll be doing a full one this week.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're freezing there. But it's the solstice tomorrow, so that's why this is quite an important day.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Michelle's going to do a lovely chakra balancing visualization with us. So stick around for the end, and then we're going to give you a wonderful affirmation for the week ahead.
Absolutely.
So welcome to everyone. And if you can hear us, just let us know in the comments box. We like to get your comments, and also let us know where you're watching from. We like to know who we're speaking to. And if you enjoy what we say, and if you find benefit in what we share with you, then can you share this with your friends on your timeline? That really does help get the information out. So just press that share button, share, and the like button. And we really love getting the hearts.
We do.
We love getting your hearts.
Thank you.
So thank you for
some
that.
likes there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So let's do the most important work, which isn't even work, of the evening, and that's to come fully into the present moment, to come fully into this community, this collection, this satsang. And we do that by gently closing our eyes and just becoming aware of the chair we're sitting on, or the bed, or the cushions that are supporting us. And we take a very deep breath in. We breathe in this air right the way down into our body and down into our toes, and then that long, beautiful, relaxing breath out, just breathing it all out and sinking down deeper and deeper into the present moment. Just for a moment or two, just allow life to breathe you without trying to force it in any way, but just keep your awareness on the breath and on breathing. There is a power and a presence that lives inside each one of us. And that power and that presence is activated when we focus on the present moment. We open ourselves up to the guiding essence of presence. And this intelligence, called presence or life, whatever label you want to give it, is more intelligent than the conscious mind. It's able to solve problems, sort situations out, bring in synchronicities, see that we're in the right place at the right time. And our job is not to try and control that, but rather to surrender to it. So just in this moment, surrender to life as it is in this moment, to exactly as it is. Surrender to all the uncomfortable situations, all the circumstances that you don't particularly like. Just surrender to this moment, just this moment here and now. And say thank you to life. Gratitude is the highest prayer we can ever utter. Just thank you. And now let's bring our awareness back to the breath, back to the breathing, and take another very deep breath into our body, blowing our tummy up like a big ball, so we're breathing from the lower diaphragm, and then the surrendering out breath. And we make the out breath twice as long as the in breath, and we drop our shoulders and relax our neck muscles as we breathe out, and letting go. And breathe in again. Breathe in very deeply again. Breathe into the count of 4. And then breathe out to the count of 8. Just surrendering your awareness into the present moment. Just surrender. And now just allow life to breathe you once again. Keeping your awareness on this beautiful rhythmic flow of air in and out of your body. And becoming aware of that slight pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. And the out-breath and the in-breath. That slight portal into presence that opens up between the breaths. This is when we fully align with life. When we're completely surrendered. Trusting that the next breath will happen by itself. The very act of being aware is who we are. The very awareness that is aware of the breath is who you are. And this awareness is an expression of the divine. This awareness is a projection of the divine. And it's a masculine projection. The holding energy of that awareness is the feminine. And the human experience is a dance between the outgoing energy and the holding energy. Between the doing energy and the being energy. And the pause between the in-breath and the out-breath is the sacred communion between the masculine and the feminine, where nothing is being done. It's neither positive nor negative in that slight pause between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. We can think of the in-breath as the doing energy, the masculine, and the out-breath as the feminine, the relaxing, the releasing. And that slight pause between the two is a surrendering to the sacred I amness, which is neither masculine nor feminine. That's your eternal essence, your being. You can call it the Holy Spirit if you like. It's a true essence, your divine presence. And as we go through this period of transformation in the human species, I believe we need to honor that sacred space of I am more than our doing. We need to come back to that balance, a state of balance, which is love. Love is when the masculine and feminine come together in stillness, in quietness, in union with God. That is love. Take another very deep breath into your being now. Another very deep breath in right down to your toes. And a beautiful, long, releasing, relaxing breath out. And when you're ready, you may very gently, slowly open your eyes and just see how you feel in this moment. Do you feel a bit more balanced, a bit more centered? Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to just before the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. The solstice, let's just call it the solstice for want of ease of communication, but it's in the southern hemisphere, it's the winter solstice. So this is our, from now on the light starts getting more. So we're actually supposed to be in midwinter, well, it's pretty much summer.
Cape Town today was like summer. It's 28 degrees.
It's really hot.
Short sleeves.
Really hot.
We were in the sun and we went up the mountain. And
amazing.
Absolutely beautiful weather.
Yeah, stunning. I think we're in some rain now, but from now on the days get longer again for us. In the northern hemisphere, the opposite happens. They start getting shorter. So tomorrow, that's the solstice is tomorrow. So we're kind of incorporating that today a little bit. And it also aligns with the sun moving into the sign of Cancer. That's what happens on the solstice. So that's all about nurturing. It's about emotional processing. It's about coming home to who we are. That's where the sun's in Cancer every year for a month. So that's when we're starting tomorrow. And we've got a full moon this week on the 24th, which is opposite the sun in Cancer, so it's in Capricorn. So I'll put out a video on that in the next few days. But quite interestingly, on the same day as the solstice, which is tomorrow, Jupiter goes retrograde, starts going retrograde, and he joins 3 other planets. So it's Pluto, Saturn, and Mercury. They all retrograde. Jupiter's going retrograde as well. And Jupiter really connects with and represents our sense of truth, our belief systems, our philosophies. It also applies to the law, legal matters. So I think that there's going to be a lot more, whenever anything goes retrograde, there's a lot of reassessing, there's a lot of going backwards into what's been happening, what's true, what's not true, have our beliefs shifted in the last year, last year and a half. I think a lot of our belief systems have shifted. Where do we find our sense of truth from? Where do we find truth? So those are all questions that we're going to be asking on Jupiter's retrograde journey. And I think a lot of truths will still be uncovered. It's at the moment Jupiter's in the sign of Pisces, and he'll retrograde back into the sign of Aquarius, which is all about new inventions. So it might be interesting to see what happens with the new inventions that have been placed on our planet, the experimental stuff that's busy being worked with, to see if it works or not. So I think a lot of truth's going to come out there, and a lot more legal stuff's going to come out. So that's just in the next few days. There's a bit of sticky energy around in the next few days, so just be aware of that. And there might be a lot of emotionalism, quite big energy. Whenever a big planet shifts or turns retrograde, there tends to be a little bit more of an amplified energy, especially Jupiter, because Jupiter is the planet of amplification. So whatever he touches gets expanded and amplified. So just be aware of, not just because of that, there's a few other indications and alignments as well. So just keep centering over the next few days. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Yeah, particularly with the solstice.
Yeah,
I think that's a balancing of energies, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a balancing of energies. Yeah, balancing of night
and it does align with this on the same day as Jupiter turns. So it's just to find that balance, and that's really what we're going to talk about tonight as well. And it's the balance between masculine and feminine, really is. So the solstice in the southern hemisphere, we're moving out of winter into summer. But basically, we are welcoming the light. We're acknowledging the dark and welcoming in the more light. So we're actually releasing whatever we don't need from winter and actually opening to light and expansion and amplification and truth.
It's strange that because, from us in the southern hemisphere, winter hasn't even started, really. I mean, it hasn't started. So although from... When is it on Thursday? When is 21st? No, it's tomorrow. So from tomorrow, it's every day is going to start getting a bit longer. But in fact, we're going to go into the darkest part of winter, really.
Yes, we are.
Coldest.
So I think it's energetically more than seasonally right now.
So it's interesting because at the moment when we look at the Earth and we look at where we are at as far as the darkness goes, in the history of humanity, and we seem to be in a very dark place right now. Very, very dark place. There seems to be a lot of evilness coming into our awareness on the earth at the moment. And yet, from what I know, we've already turned the corner. We are already headed back towards the light. In fact, we've been heading there for quite a long time. And yet it doesn't seem that way. It seems like the dark forces seem to be stronger than ever. And so I would suggest it's the same as reaching the solstice and actually starting to move back towards the light. And yet there's a momentum of winter and cold that's going to still hit us in the southern hemisphere. And yet it's to know that every single day we are moving back towards the light. And so it is, I think, with us, with the earth at this time. It's to know that despite the darkness and despite how strong this darkness seems to be on the planet at this time, that we are in fact headed back towards the light. And it's to trust that. It's to trust that movement back into the light. And the more we focus on that light and on that that connection, a sense of connection, which is what the light is all about, so we will amplify it not only in our own lives, but also for the whole human species. To realize that what you think and what you feel doesn't only affect your moods, doesn't only affect how you see your life and your day. It actually affects the whole of mankind, because we are connected energetically, we are built holographically, and one part of the hologram always represents the whole hologram, as above, so below. So it's to know that as we focus on what we want, as we focus on the peace, the joy, the love, the connection, so we amplify that for all of humanity, and we make it easier for other people to awaken as well. And, you know, when we talk about this moving back towards the light, it's actually a process of awakening. And the awakening process is actually to awaken from the dream of mind, from the dream of thought. And if you think about what's been happening on our planet in a little while now, it's really the control of thought by fear. It's the control of the mind by fear. And so awakening is to awaken from fear and to move back into love. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight on the chakras. We're going to move in that direction of moving back towards the heart, back into the light, away from the false evidence appearing real, which is the acronym that I use for fear, false evidence appearing real, which is so relevant right now. I mean, just look at the press, false evidence appearing real. It's so blatantly obvious what's going on the planet at the moment. And so as we awaken from the mind manipulation, from the huge psyop that's going on at the moment, and come back to connection, to community, to love, to joy, which is our true essence, which is our true being, and rather to trust in that than those peddling the fear.
Yeah, and also to move back into the realization of where that light comes from and where our truth is, and actually into where our true power is. So that's really what we're going to be talking about as well, because the two chakras that we're going to be talking about are the Solar Plexus Chakra and the Heart Chakra. And the Solar Plexus Chakra is like our inner sun. It's our center of light. It's our center of power in a good way. It's a good power. And so if we don't have that sense of inner power, we are going to be led this way and that way. It's just, like a ring in our nose and just pull you by the nose, because you don't have a sense of your own direction, your own sense of knowingness, your own sense of truth. And that exists in us. So I don't think there's ever been a more important time to actually get in touch with the true essence of who we actually are and our true power. And that exists in us, and we can actually ignite that. And it lines up very beautifully with the winter solstice and what's going to be happening energetically for us. So it's to align with where do you find your power, and how do you ignite that power? The solar plexus chakra is known in Sanskrit as Agni, and the words that are associated with that is ignite, ignition. How do you ignite that power? Because it's there. It's always there. But the less we feel empowered, the more we're going to be led and controlled by others. Because the more fearful we're going to be, the smaller we're going to feel. Oh, I haven't got any power of my own, so I've got to get power from someone else. I can't make my own decisions because I'm not in my own power. So I'm going to wait and let somebody else make a decision for me. So I really see this as a very important time for us. And it's lined up beautifully with the chakras. I mean, we decided to do that last week.
Yeah, that's
and it just happens to have lined up with this now.
Yeah. Well, that's showing the synchronistic dance of life, that everything is happening perfectly. And that we're having this discussion tonight is perfect. That's perfect. So last week we went through the first two chakras. For those of you who weren't with us, We went through the base chakra, which is sort of like a red, and that's to do with money and family and tribal energy
Roots.
and survival. And that's very important because you need good roots. And then the next one above that was the sacral. That's to do with creativity. It's to do with your sexual energy. It's to do with enjoyment in life. And now tonight we're going to be moving into the third chakra, which is the Manipura, the solar plexus. It's the place of the sun.
Yes.
You can think of it that way. And it's an orange energy.
It's
and
yellow.
Yellow energy. And it's to do with air, is it? No, fire.
No, it's fire. Yeah, so it's our inner fire.
It's our fire. So it's to do with the reds and the oranges and the yellows. It's the fire colors.
Yeah.
And it's quite a pointy sort of energy as well. It's not smooth energy. It's quite a flaming energy.
No, it's flaming. It's like
Very
an
flaming.
inner sun.
Yeah. So you can think of it that way.
In a natal chart, when you look at the sun, you look, and this is how it ties into the masculine. You look at the sun as the representation of the masculine, of the male, of the father. Actually, very often it can tell you a lot about the father when you look at the sun. So when you look at our personal sun, where does it reside? It resides here in the solar plexus, which is why when you feel disempowered, very often, if somebody says something to you that really sort of triggers you, you very often feel like you've been winded in the solar plexus. It's like someone's kicked you in the solar plexus. That's what it is.
Because you've lost your power.
You've lost your power. In that moment, your power's leaked out of you. Well, it hasn't leaked, but it feels like it's leaked out of you. So to feel empowered, we have to strengthen that inner flame, if you like. So you can see it as a big yellow ball. You can see it as a yellow sun. You can stand in front of the sunset or the sunrise, and you can actually bring that fire in to you. So to ignite your own fire, to help you to actually solidify your own sense of power. So you're not looking for it outside. And that's the masculine. And we often talk about the feminine because there's so much about doing and being, and we're all doings. But mostly doings. And we often talk about a lot about the feminine and about sinking into the feminine, because the feminine is the control, the holder, the container. So the way I like to see the feminine is it's almost the feminine's like a chalice, and the chalice holds the flame. Without the chalice, the flame can't be there. So if your root chakra and your sacral chakra are out of balance, then that chalice is a bit wobbly, and then that flame is not going to be there. So that's why the chakras all work together.
And the flame is the masculine power.
The flame is the masculine.
That's your.
It's the fire.
Yeah, that's your sense of self-worth and self-control. It's all about that.
Yeah. Self-will, willpower. That sense of it's like how you take the power in from the sun and then transform it into action. So just like a solar panel takes the energy from the sun and fires up our devices, that's what we do as well. We take the energy in from the sun, and then we can fire up what we need to do in our lives. So if that inner fire is really low, there's not going to be a lot of confidence. There's not going to be a lot of vuma to go and do the stuff that you want to do in the world, to shine your light, because shining light is a masculine thing. The sun is masculine. Shining light is masculine. It's an outward
doing
thing.
Energy.
It's doing.
And it's interesting talking about solar power coming from here.
Yeah.
In that all the food that we get to activate our body gets its energy from the sun.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
And so the sun is the primary source of all the nourishment that our body gets. And it's digested here in the solar plexus, just below your rib cage in your stomach. So all of your energy is actually processed in the area of your solar plexus. And that's also where the spleen lies and the gallbladder. And they're all vital in the activation of the right hormones in the body to give us that vuma, that energy. It all happens here in the solar plexus. So it's a vital place of energy in our body. And if we don't activate that, if we don't honor that energy, we will be, as Michelle said, led by others. We will be disempowered, and we will be we will believe the narrative that our power lies outside of us, that someone else is more powerful than us. And I believe that at this time we need to step back into our power. And when I say step back, I mean literally step back into our body, step back into our solar plexus, and know that who you really are is powerful beyond measure, powerful beyond measure. And that is the knowingness of your true source, your true energy, which comes from your solar plexus. It's your sense of physical identity. It's the seat of the ego, in fact.
It is the seat
comes from the solar plexus.
Ego.
And the ego is your vehicle to navigate the human realm. It's a very important thing. It's not to be negated. People sometimes want to get rid of the ego. Say, no. The ego is very, very powerful and very important to the human experience. You need to be driving it, though. It mustn't drive you. You need to be in control. And the you that needs to be in control is not the little you, it's the big you. It's the you that knows who it really is. It's the you that knows it is a spark of the divine. If the spark of the divine within you is driving the ego, then it can be a wonderful vehicle for the expression of the divine in this realm. So it's to understand that the ego is vital, it's your power, it's your willpower. And the willpower needs to be directed. So this power that we talk about in the solar plexus is like the flame of energy, and it needs direction. It doesn't need control. It doesn't need to be controlled. It needs to be directed. Normally, when we talk about control, we talk about control over someone else, control over even ourselves. But this power is not about that. This is about directing that power to the in the direction and for the purpose that you really want. Not what your society has conditioned you to believe you want, but what do you want? What does your heart yearn for? What is the most beneficial for you and all of creation? That's really where the true direction of this power must come from. Your authentic power. Must come from your authentic being. That's really what it comes from. Not from your need to acquire or your need to self-aggrandizement. It's not coming from a narcissistical place. It's coming from this yearn to express your light in this realm in the most magical and the most integrated way. That's really what it is. It's about integrating the power through your will to be the creative expression of the divine in this time.
Yes. Sorry, somebody just said my face is half off the screen. Doesn't look like it from our perspective. So if it is, please will somebody else tell me if it's true. This power center is really, really important. It doesn't get paid a lot of attention to for some reason. And I don't know if it's maybe because people think it's power's bad or something, but it's not, because if that inner power center is not working, you're not going to be able to digest food properly for a start. You'll feel uninspired. You'll feel like you have no confidence. You'll feel like you have no energy to fire your dreams and the things that, oh, thank you. My face is fine. Okay. Might have been your phone or something, Alex. So we need that fire to activate. It's warm. When the solar plexus chakra is out of balance, that's when you can get narcissism. That's when you can actually get someone who's arrogant, who's using his force. He's using more force, or she's using more force than power. That's out of balance. Or when you're just running, and you burn yourself out. That's when it's out of balance in the excessive way. When it's unbalanced, when there's not enough of it, it's sluggishness, stagnancy, depression, no kind of sense of any real reason for being here, uninspired, kind of not really wanting to get out there or do anything. When it's balanced, you've got confidence, you've got inspiration, you've got enough energy to actually get your dreams going, to say, yes, I'd like to do that, and put your energy into it. But as John said, without force, without control, you don't have to control. There's no need to control. It's controlled. It's a directed light. Yeah.
And in the opening meditation, I spoke about the power and the intelligence within us called life. It's to align with the will of life and to use our will in alignment with that will. It's not my will be done, but thy will be done. And to use your full expression in this life to fulfill that in this world.
Absolutely.
And what really robs us of that power is an energy that's used to manipulate and control, and that is shame. Shame is the one thing that really puts out that fire.
Yeah.
And if you want to control a nation, or if you want to control, a species, you shame them. That's what you do. It's such a negative energy. If you know of David Hawkins' map of consciousness, where he rates all emotions from 0 up to 1,000, with 1,000 being sort of Christ consciousness, the lowest and the most debilitating energy is shame.
Yeah.
And shame is used to control and manipulate people and to put out your Manipura fire. Yeah. And if you just think of it at the moment, if you don't wear a mask, for example, you are shamed by society. If you don't get a vaccine, you're shamed. That is a very manipulative energy. It's a way of putting out your personal power. And I believe at this time we need to step into our personal power. Yes. and not be subjected, not to be vulnerable, really. That's the word, not to be vulnerable to society's devious and manipulative processes of control, which is shame.
Building that. Because, if you think about shame, I just get an image of somebody that's full of shame. That is literally, there's just no reason to do anything. There's no fire there. The fire's out. It's gone. There's none of it. And that's what's got to be built. This fire, and then obviously it's going to feed up into the heart, which you're going to talk about as well. But the heart's been spoken about a lot. This chakra hasn't been spoken about a lot. And so if your fire's feeling out of balance, in terms of if you don't have enough of it, getting out into nature. Number one, exercise. It's imperative. That's what stokes fire. So if your fire's low, you need to actually do something, even though you don't feel like doing anything, to get outside and actually get it stoked, because that actually activates the fire. Definitely. Wearing warm-colored clothes, having something warm lighting, that fire. Obviously, candles and warm foods, warm drinks,
even spices.
All those things will actually activate your fire, your inner fire. And then I think every day it needs to be activated every day.
Do your breathing, do your diaphragmic breathing. That activates your fire. You stoking the fire by breathing into your solar plexus. And there's fire breathing. You can look it up in yoga pranayama breathing. Really does activate that fire. It builds that Agni within you. And it's really very important. So wearing yellow, doing that visualization Michelle said about visualizing the sun and the solar plexus with an umbilical cord coming into your solar plexus, that's very, very powerful. And doing the breathing and exercise, very, very important.
And just standing in the sunlight and just bringing that sun right into that solar plexus area. Open your arms out wide and just allow that sun to come in, and you're inviting it in to ignite all your cells. Your 60 trillion, or how many cells you've got, is to actually bring that light in, because that solar plexus chakra then feeds into the heart chakra, which we're always talking about. Which is where the healing of the planet is going to come from.
The heart.
But if there's nothing here feeding it, that's not going to happen. So if your base chakra's out, your sacral chakra's out, and your solar plexus chakra's out, there's not going to be much happening in the heart.
No.
There's going to be that sense of, I've got nothing to give.
No energy.
My cup's empty. I'm all given out. I'm all pleased out. And there can be sadness and depression and grief there, as opposed to love. And yes, I've got plenty to give you, because I've got plenty myself.
And so we're talking tonight about the masculine energy, and this is the fire is the masculine energy in the world. I think for some time now, the masculine energy has been overvalued for a long, long time, and the feminine energy has been undervalued. But at the moment, in order, I believe, to control and diminish the power of the human species, the masculine energy is being diminished. A lot of the masculine energy has been diminished. And right now, in order to activate the heart, we need to activate this male energy within us, this fire energy, through intention. Not intention to control, but intention to express yourself, to actually be the authentic, God-given spark of the divine that we are.
Yeah.
And that's the masculine energy. And so I believe that we really do need to work on the solar plexus, that personal sense of authentic power within us, that God-given power, not given by the state or given by society, but it's your true birthright. That's the power that we're talking about here. It's your birthright. It's the very essence of the divine that was birthed into this realm. That's the one that needs to be honored. And that cannot be diminished by the world around you. We can be hypnotized to give our power away, but we actually always have that power within us. We need to just awaken to that energy. So it's very important, this fire, this masculine fire that we have burning within us. It's beautiful.
And without that, it's cold.
Yeah.
It's lifeless.
Yeah.
It's the color that it's the sun. If you think about an overcast day where everything looks gray and depressing, and then you turn the light on and everything just comes out and glows and celebrates.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's exactly the same as us.
Yeah.
If our sun's out, everything's going to be looking dull.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be inspired. And we're not going to see the joy and see the beauty because there's no light shining on it. So for me, it's vital.
Yeah, to activate that sun, that solar plexus within us is really, really vital to this transformation process that we're going through at the moment.
Sometimes it even helps to eat foods of those colors and to sense it. You know, you put on a color that's warm and feel how you feel. Or if you paint it. Or, you know, use color in your home. Look at vegetables that have got those colors and just see what happens in your system when you actually become more aware of color and aware of energy.
Yeah.
So
that ties in very nicely with Father's Day, the masculine energy.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And now I think we're going to move into the heart. And the heart is a bridge. It's a bridge between the lower three chakras and the upper three chakras. And it's absolutely vital. That is the real work that we're doing as a species at the moment, as we're shifting from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. So first of all, we need to reactivate our power, and then we need to hand that power into love, the power of love. And that is definitely not a controlling, not a manipulative power at all. The power of love is an inclusive. It's what is good for the whole rather than what's good for the individual. Love is a sense of connection. It's activated through allowing, through acceptance, and through appreciation. That's the heart. And we open to the heart. We don't go and get love. And we don't give love either. We open ourselves to be a channel for that love to flow through us into the world. So as against the solar plexus, the heart is very much an opening energy.
Yes.
It's an allowing energy.
Yes.
It's almost a surrendering energy, surrendering to the power of the divine to come through us. And it's a green.
Yeah.
It's a green. It's called anahata energy. It's the unstruck energy, the uncreated energy. It's the energy that's always been here. That's the heart energy. Green, the color of life, the color of leaves, the color of grass. That's the heart.
It's actually air, which is connecting.
Yeah.
The air element is the connecting element.
Yes.
So without air, we wouldn't be talking to you because we wouldn't be able to actually get the words out.
Yeah.
So air is the connector, and it's activated by breath. So when we breathe, and we breathe into the heart, we are activating that heart center. And when we bring the energy from the solar plexus up into the heart, then we don't have to do anything because it just radiates on its own. It's like a flame. You light a flame and that flame just radiates. It doesn't have to be forced to do anything.
And then we feed it with that air of the heart, and that flame becomes stronger, more beautiful, more vibrant.
Yeah, because air fans fire.
Yeah.
So you just have to have one little spark. And then the other thing just about the fire is fire needs to be tended. Something I only learnt a few years ago. You can't light a fire and leave it. You have to tend it, which means that you have to blow into it, and you have to fan a little bit, and you have to put little kindling in. It's got to be cared for. Your inner fire's got to be cared for. And then that actually fans that heart flame. And then that just radiates out. You don't have to do anything after that. You just have to open, as John said. You just have to open, and then that just expands out of you. And then naturally connects people and pulls people to you, because that's what the heart does. And it's the center. So it's really the center between the lower three and the upper three, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's like the bridge.
Yeah, if you think of the lower three chakras almost being as a more individualistic, me and mine,
yeah.
where as we go into the heart, it becomes ours. It becomes about the collective. It becomes about the community. And it's a much bigger energy. It's a more embracing energy. It's more universal energy. And that's the heart. And that's what humanity, I believe, is now stepping into, the heart energy. And love has no opposite, but there is a counterbalance to that love energy, which is a misperceived energy, but it's the energy of fear. Fear seems to be the energy of false evidence appearing real, which is an illusionary energy. But that is the energy that's so alluring for the mind. The mind seems to focus on fearful stuff all the time. When you meet someone, what do you tell them? You tell them about all the things that are wrong in your life and all the things to be scared about.
Yeah.
Now, love is not that. Love is the embracing energy, the joy of life, the connection, the community, and the trust. That's a very important part of love, is to trust. Not trust in something, trust in that your expectations will be met by the world of form. No, it's to trust life itself. It's to trust the divine essence of being, of presence. To trust God, if you want to put it that way. And that comes with love. Love is trusting the divine, not trusting in the physical world, but trusting in the real energy of who you really are, of the authentic power in the universe. And that's love. That is love. Love is the authentic power.
Yeah, it's life.
It's
life.
Love is life. Life is love. That's really what it is. And one of the things is people often seek love. Love is not to be sought. If you want to seek anything, seek the barriers that you have created to love. Seek all those unconscious patterns that you have within you of judgment and of condemnation and of separation, the belief in separation. Those are the barriers to love that you have to seek. Don't seek love itself. Love is something to be opened up to. Love is to be realized. It's already here. You are like a drop of water in the ocean looking for the ocean. Well, you are it already. You are it. You cannot seek it. But the act of seeking is quite often one of the barriers we have to finding. So it's to dissolve the barriers between you and love that you have just mistakenly created through misperceptions, and to let go of those misperceptions and allow love to flow. And one of the beautiful realizations is, if you can think of it as that above us we have this incredible ocean, the ocean of abundance, the ocean of love, the ocean of joy. And all we have to, we have the tap, and all we have to do is open the tap, and it flows through us. The tap doesn't create water, it just opens, and the water that's there flows. And so we don't create love, we open our hearts, and the love that's already in this ocean, this abundant ocean, flows through us and into the world. And then we become, as Gandhi says, we become an instrument of that which we seek in the world, with an instrument of peace and joy and love. We become that. We allow that to flow into this dimension. So love is very much about allowing, accepting, and the third one is the appreciation. The appreciation of all the good that's in your life here and now, and the good that's in people that you are surrounded with here and now. Start noticing the good in the people around you. The mind will always notice what's wrong with the world. It'll notice what's wrong with the people around you. Where love will notice what's right in the world.
Yeah, it's a tricky one right now, because it's very easy to see what's wrong in the world.
Well,
and why isn't this person believing the same thing as I am? And so the opening of the heart is acceptance. And the compassion for people that aren't on the same page necessarily. That's a big lesson for all of us. So it's the allowing, it's the appreciating, it's the acknowledging, it's acknowledging yourself as well, appreciating yourself as well, as others, and being not doing the thing that so many people say, which is, well, I'm just closing my heart. I'm going to just block. I'm putting a barrier up. It's the worst possible thing anybody can do, ever. It doesn't protect you from getting hurt at all. In fact, it makes it worse. Because what it does is it isolates you and alienates others. So that wherever that came from, I don't know where it came from, but I've had so many people saying, "Oh no, I've closed my heart," and I just no, just don't do that. Yes, you might get hurt if your heart's open, but you're going to get hurt anyway. Whether your heart center, if your heart center is open, you're going to be able to process whatever comes in and whatever leaves. You're going to be able to process the emotion that comes in, even if it is sadness, even if it is hurt and betrayal. If it's closed, you're creating huge suffering for yourself.
But what gets hurt really is our expectations, our egoic idea of who we are, and that limited self. That's the one that gets broken. I often say, who's got a broken heart, and 3/4 of people put up their hands. If you had your heart broken, I say, well, your heart's never been broken. Your heart can't be broken. It's your expectations. It's your mind. It's your mind that's been broken, not your heart. And so this process is to surrender to the essence of life and to trust that life is giving you not necessarily what you want, but it's giving you everything you need to return to love, to come back to wholeness. And so then you can start to welcome even the so-called challenges that you have in your life. And that is love. Love is to accept, allow, and appreciate even that is unacceptable. Even appreciate that, because in that is the key for your own transformation, your own liberation, your own healing, your own return to love. And that's the beauty of it. And the affirmation, or one of the powerful affirmations to use here, is I am in love. I'm in it. I'm in this ocean of love. I am in love. Just say it every moment of every day. I am in love. And that is such an opening affirmation. Such a beautiful affirmation.
It is.
And when you're in love, what happens to your immune system? It improves. You don't get sick when you're in love. What happens to your intelligence when you're in love? It massively, your IQ goes right the way up. So it's a good way to live your life, to say, I am in love, and to feel it in your heart. I am in love. I am in love. No matter what your circumstances are, you are in love. That is the absolute truth. And that is our return journey. It's to return to love.
And a question that you can always ask as well during your day is, what would love do in this moment? It's a very powerful question. So when you are needing to make a decision, you're needing to respond to somebody, just ask that question before you do it. You need to make a decision for yourself of what to eat, of where to go, of what to do, of how to treat your body. What would love do? If I really loved myself, if I really loved this person, what would love do in this moment? And it often changes your response.
And to access that, just go into stillness, go into quietness. The mind always activates itself through noise. But in fact, love comes through that portal of stillness, a portal of quietness. So if you really want to listen to your heart, you have to become very still and very quiet inside. Thank you. I think we're going to...
a snapshot of those. We can go on forever with them actually.
Yes.
Because it's a very big... These chakras are beautiful because it's quite an organized system. And
amazing.
It helps to actually... to sort of really get a sense of our energy system and what we can actually do to keep these chakras, these energy systems open so that the energy is flowing through us and it's not getting stuck.
And the main way of opening up our chakras and begin to spin in perfect balance with each other is to align yourself with life, with presence. The more present you are, the more aligned your chakras are. And it doesn't take more than 2-3 minutes to open your chakras and to align your chakras. I mentioned that I have a biofeedback machine, and you put your hands on a plate and it measures your chakras. And we can see, where someone's blocked, and then we do a little centering meditation. You put the hand back on there, and you see them. Oh my goodness me, they're so much more balanced just by coming into presence. So presence is the key for balancing and opening your chakras. And as you balance your chakras, so you balance your life. You balance your body, you balance your endocrine system.
Because we are energetic. We are not physical only. We're energetic beings. And that's the energy system. So we've got to keep it tuned and oiled and well and open. You know, so if it's just like an electric current. If there's a kink in the wire, you're not going to get to switch the light on. It's the same thing with our bodies. We're electric. We need to keep those channels clear. Otherwise, we're going to have illnesses and emotional issues and the same old thing repeating over and over again. So it's important.
So now why don't you do a nice centering, balancing visualization for us?
All right. I'll just work on the 2. Okay. What's the time? Yeah, it's 20 past. Okay, I hope I can be heard because my voice tends to go soft, I'm told. At least my face is in the screen. All right, so let's just take a deep breath in and a releasing breath out. So breathing in, start with through your nose. Bring the breath all the way up into the chest. And then release the breath out of your mouth with a sigh. Breathing in. And out. And on the out breath, just release. Release, release, release. Allow your body to just become more and more relaxed. With each out breath, just start to relax your body more. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. And soften. Soften into this moment. I imagine a beautiful waterfall of light coming in through the head, swirling through the head, down through the throat, through the neck, down through the heart, and into this solar plexus area, which is in the lower abdomen. Yeah, somewhere near your belly button. But above your belly button. Just allow that light to flow into that area. Imagine that light flowing into a beautiful ball of yellow light, a flaming ball. You can even hold that area if you like. Put your hand there. And imagine a ball of light now, a beautiful, big, huge, very bright fireball, like an inner sun, sitting right there inside your solar plexus. And with each breath, start to grow that and brighten it. So imagine it glowing even brighter and growing even bigger. And now let that light from the solar plexus flow into every cell of your body. Imagine all the cells in your body filled with this light. Every single one of the trillions of cells in your body. Allow this light to travel throughout your body to the limbs, to your fingers, to your feet, up into your head, into all of your organs. And as this light fills you up, this beautiful yellow warm light, feel the warmth inside you. And set the intention to release anything that does not serve you. Releasing any habits that don't serve you. Releasing any relationships that might not serve you. Releasing beliefs that don't serve you. and filling up those empty spaces with this beautiful yellow flaming light that activates every part of your body. Now bring some of that light, bring a spark of that light up into your heart. You can move your hand up to your heart if you like. Place it in the heart. Breathe into the heart so you fan that flame. Imagine that little flame growing bigger and bigger right in the middle of your heart. With your breath, help this flame to grow. Heart flame, the love flame. Feel the gratitude for everything you have, all the blessings that you have in your life. Soften into acceptance of this moment in your life. Feel what it feels like to let go of resistance and to just accept. And feel how that flows into your heart and opens your heart. So continue to just breathe into your heart, opening it, softening it, and allowing that light, that spark of light, to radiate out from you into your body, to your physical body, into your aura, out into the room that you're in, into your community, into your country, to all our leaders, to all those in positions of power. And further to the world. To the leaders of the world. To the people in positions of power. Send your heart flame across the globe, throughout the globe. Now bring your attention back to your heart, back to the solar plexus, and just see those two chakras spinning beautifully. See if you can imagine what they would look like. The heart chakra being the green, and the solar plexus chakra being the yellow, bright yellow. Spinning, clear, open. Allowing you to be right in the middle of the flow. Allowing you to be a conduit of peace, of love, of light. I'll take a deep breath in. releasing breath out. And when you're ready, rub your hands together and gently open your eyes.
Wasn't that beautiful? Wasn't that lovely? Thank you, Michelle. It
Pleasure.
was really beautiful. And I guarantee you now, if you could check your auras, it'd be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And your chakras would be lovely balanced. So thank you for that. You know, we were discussing earlier maybe doing a 7-week course on the chakras.
I think it might be a nice one.
Might be nice to spend
Let
a
us
whole
know.
week doing that.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful one because there's so much in each one. I mean, we've literally just skimmed the surface.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of work that can be done on each chakra to help liberate and
it's a journey in itself.
It is, yeah.
So tell us if you'd like to investigate that, explore that.
We can put a 7-week course together to balance the chakras. Would you like to choose an affirmation? Let's see what affirmation we can come up with tonight. We've got a lot of cards here. Choose yellow.
I live my life with joy.
How about that? That's fire.
Yeah, that's fire.
I live my life with a fire of joy. I live my life with joy.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I'll put that up on the Facebook page. I'll photograph it and put it up now.
Yes.
So thank you for being with us tonight. We hope that your heart is more open and that your Manipura is more fired up, that you can use that. Thank you for being with us tonight, and we look forward to connecting with you next Sunday. Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Sunday.
Lots of love.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Yeah, have a good week and enjoy the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere and the summer one in the northern hemisphere. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, lots of love.